Hey friends, hey family, my name's Skylent, and if you follow me, you should know that I really love pixel art games. One, because I greatly appreciate the art form for what it is. Also, nostalgia's a drug, and finally, because generally pixel art games are indie games. They are committed to by people with innovative ideas or games that want to spiritually succeed, something that was, older and maybe has been a little bit forgotten with time. These are games that are generally unique, generally niche, true, but it's gosh dang it the niche that I love. So I've already done this list for 3 years running, or at least this is going to be the 3rd year, but you should actually go and watch those past 2 videos. They're still extremely relevant. One, because you probably missed some of the releases, they're all amazing games, and also because some of them actually still haven't come out. But there's going to be no repeats on this list, all entirely new games, pixel art games, upcoming for this year and next year, and hopefully we can all keep the hype alive. Let's go top 10 upcoming pixel art games for the next year. Now, the first game that I want to talk about is very little, not very known. It's called Itta, and graphically, aesthetically, right, but then also mechanically, it seems to be kind of similar to like last generation's pixel art games such as Titan Souls, maybe even Hyper Light Drifter, but this seems to be a boss rush game that focuses on bullet hell type of gameplay. We've seen a few indie titles kind of focus on that gameplay, and I'm definitely a fan of that direction. I am not a big, proponent of like sci-fi pixel art, especially with the sci-fi bullet hell type of games. But when you have like games like Ubermosh or now this, where it focuses on like melee combat, bullet hell type of gameplay with fantasy elements and that fantasy aesthetic, especially with the pixel art, it just seems and looks so fun, and it definitely seems geared for me. So even though it's very, very little known, hopefully this video can get some eyeballs on it. Next up at number 9, we have a game called Inmost, and this is actually going to come to the Switch. Now, Inmost is kind of like a creepy horror style game. It seems like it's going to tell a story of a family in a house and some sort of hauntings, creepy factor, alternate dimension, I don't know. It's atmospheric, it's a story-driven puzzle platformer, that's what I know. There's multiple characters to play through, and there's a dark, interconnected story about an abandoned castle. So, yeah. I definitely like games like this. I think the closest thing that I played was like there's some dollar game on there called Depth on Steam that you might be able to check out, but this seems to be like a complete expansion of that, and it even has maybe some adventure qualities to this, so definitely a full-featured title that you should definitely know about here. Okay guys, next up we've got a Kickstarted game. It is fully Kickstarted, it is actually coming out, you can wishlist it on Steam. It's a game called The Iron Oath. Now, I put it on here because I really appreciate the overall stylings of this pixel art. You're often going to find the case is that things are either overdrawn, overdone, or things are more chibi, cartoon, or very, very simplistic and minimalistic. Of course, that's kind of the spirit of pixel art anyways, but this is somewhere in between, and it seems more mature, so I think I'm very interested in a game like that. And it's a tactical RPG that definitely has a darker tone and a more serious tonality, where apparently the decisions you make throughout your campaign can affect, obviously, your characters and those RPG mechanics, but literally the storyline, the world surrounding them. Seems like a more sincere deep dive into a genre that I often find placing multiple numbers on these lists, so let's see how this one fares, hopefully coming soon. And now let's talk about a game called Eastward. Eastward is going to be an adventure game that seems to focus a lot on story, and if you actually go to Chucklefish's YouTube channel, you can see a lot of like winded playthroughs. They're very long, and you can see that there seems to be some puzzle elements there, but definitely a lot of reading, a lot of text, a lot of character development, and a lot of exploration of the world. So, in a beautifully detailed and charming post-apocalyptic world, a miner discovers a mysterious little girl named Sam deep underground in a secret facility. So we'll be journeying through the decaying cities, encountering strange creatures, and apparently even stranger people along the way. I think this is a game that could definitely become a classic versus just being a spiritual successor to classic games. Some action elements, some puzzle elements, we'll see how it all comes together in the end, but I think this game overall is inspired and charmed by Japanese cartoon aesthetic, though melded with pixel art for a very unique flavor that could stand the test of time. Monster Sanctuary. That's a game that I didn't know I wanted. Now, it doesn't seem like too many people know about this game, though I tried to promote it on another list of games like Pokemon. The unique aspect to Monster Sanctuary is that it is actually a Metroidvania first, and then a Pokemon-like second. But it's really basically like take Super Metroid with Pokemon, with a fantasy aesthetic. There you go. So you're going to be, getting, well, not Pokemon, but you're going to be acquiring monsters that have special abilities, and you're essentially going to use them like HMs. This is basically HM the game. They're going to be, breaking rocks, cutting vines, things like that for you, maneuvering you, or helping you maneuver through the Metroidvania style in built worlds. I think it would be a fun game. It's cute. I overall, definitely more a fan of the mechanics versus the overall art styling, but still, for upcoming pixel art games, I'm a big fan of monsters, so yeah, I'm gonna throw it up pretty highly on the list. So the next game I want to talk about is Undone Djinn. Undone Djinn is a title that when I first saw it, I knew it was going to be a ways off, so I didn't put it into a lot of lists that I made, even though a lot of those games still haven't come out. You should watch those videos. But Undone Djinn is a game that whenever I first saw it, I shivered with anticipation because I wanted to cover games just like this. This was one of those games where it was kind of like the final straw that broke the camel's back or whatever for me, but, in a good context. There was just a wave of awesome, innovative, new pixel art games and roguelike games, and I don't know, this is just one that is spearheading the hype wave for me, but this is going to be a action RPG roguelite-ish, pixel art, obviously, game with apparently a very immersive story that is told non-linearly, so maybe there's going to be a lot of replay value in that, trying to look through every nook and cranny with a game that looks this beautiful. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to do that. But, also the unique 7 characters that have, their own special mechanics. So in terms of just raw gameplay, it looks like it's pretty varied. But then also the world building, which is about like these different multiverses or whatever kind of colliding together. Seems big, seems like an epic. Hopefully when it finally releases, that'll be the reality that persists. Okay, so next up, I do have a game that probably doesn't deserve to be so high on the list. It's a little bit eldritch horror kind of vibe thing going on. It's one of those games where you play as a monster. Guys, I love monsters, and these indie pixel art games, oh man, there's so many of them that just have me hype. I played a few of them, and there's a bunch coming out, but basically, it's just like, they're so weird and asymmetrical. Here's another one, guys. It's a game called Sea Salt, and it's basically a horde simulator in a way. You start out with little creatures, and you fight humans. You fight the good guys, I guess, and you grow an army of minions as you continuously summon them and you run through the game. Hopefully there's a lot of replay value with acquiring new creatures or, trying out different combinations or progressions, and I think that it could just be a cute, very gimmicky game. Now, the pixel art, I don't know how you feel about it. There's a lot on the screen, a lot going on, and it's very minimalistic. It's very cutesy. It's not the most dramatic pixel art ever, so, on a pixel art list, should it be this high? I don't know, but that is just my flavor, okay? That's just what I'm vibing with. Monsters are the way to go, and it looks like a fun, silly game to play. Sea Salt. Check it out, guys. More people need to know about this. Okay, but moving into the big 3, we got a game that's another monster game. You play as the monster, and that's my bias. But this time, I really appreciate the pixel art and the animation for this game. Not too much going on the screen, and I think the gameplay overall will be almost more stealthy-like. I mean, you are a creature trying to escape a laboratory, dungeons and tunnels, and stuff and things, trying to worm your way through, you little meatbag you, while also being the monster bot. I'll also actually stealth killing or just assaulting humanoids, I don't know. You're gonna be killing people. You are the monster. You are the Thing. This is like a The Thing simulator. This is like if Meat Boy and the Thing were a video game that came together, and yeah, Carrion. So I don't know how deep this game could possibly be, but all I know is that I just want that experience. I want to be a meat bag that eats other, screaming meat bags and evolve and grow, maybe to get different abilities. And I think this could actually be a really unique and fun game to speedrun. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Should I speedrun this game, or is it a little bit too mature for the audience here? Spoiler alert, actually no, the answer, most of my audience is 18 to 34-year-olds. We're fine, we're good. I am definitely going to be Let's Playing this on this channel and streaming it over at twitch.tv/Skylent. Alright, now our number 2 game for an upcoming new pixel art is a game called Savior. Now, a lot of people don't know about this. It was kind of shared on Reddit, so, that's where I found it, but Savior really instantaneously reminds me, probably you older gamers, of Prince of Persia Classic. Now, if you guys don't remember, Prince of Persia Classic had for the time, really freaking good pixel art animations and acrobatics. In fact, it's what even inspired me at all to ever attempt pixel art, which ended up creating my, channel avatar. So this game, obviously being inspired by that and taking a lot of tropes from, modern pixel art indie games and throwing them together, looks really exciting. Now, the combat seems interesting. I have no idea how that's going to play out with all those acrobatics. The animation obviously looks really good, but it entwines with the gameplay, the leaping, the parkour, the action-based combat, and then it's also story-driven, and then it also has RPG mechanics and progression, and what's going on? I don't know, Savior looks like it's got a lot to it, but a lot could go wrong, but hey, at least in trailer form for an upcoming pixel art list video, it's freaking hype. Alright guys, before we go much further into number 1, we got some honorable mentions that I obviously wanted to mention honorably. We've got one title called Crying Suns. This game is going to be a little bit mixed media, it seems, but still definitely has that pixel art vibages and a pixel art overall overtone. It's going to be a tactical and strategy-focused game, which I haven't mentioned too much, at least this year, or much on my channel, though I very much love them, so gotta slap this down there. I think it almost has like 4X-y elements, possibly. At least it seems inspired by 4X strategy, but mainly is going to be a tactical game that I think a lot of sci-fi people, they're gonna appreciate, they're gonna love, because I think sci-fi is overall underused when it comes to indie pixel art games. It's always mixed and merged in certain ways, or it's like steampunk, or mainly we focus on like stone punk, magic and fantasy. So Crying Suns, absolutely talking about that. And now another honorable mention, I'm specifically putting it here because I really adore the look of this game. This is actually the aesthetic that I kind of was lamenting a little bit in the last entry, that sort of stone, fantasy, post-apocalyptic world. And this actually reminds me so much of Hyper Light Drifter, but I just love the colors. This game looks so colorful, and it just has this aesthetic that if I were to make a pixel art game, honestly, I would go directly in this direction myself. So it looks like it's going to be a fun action RPG to plow through. Again, probably vaguely similar to Hyper Light Drifter. That's okay. That's cool. I'm ready to jam for that. I don't know, there's a lot of like animal creatures. Like there's like Sun Wukong. There's like, I think the main character is like a rabbit shadow creature with a sword thing. It looks adorable, but at the same time has those darker vibes that we have seen in other indie pixel art games. So cool. I like it. Neat new aesthetic. And the final honorable mention is a game called Kynseed. Currently early access. This seems to be more of a life simulator type of game. Well, I'm putting it on the list here because it is, the pixel art, very engrossing. It's incredibly detailed, which could also be a fault. It could be very noisy in a lot of games, but I wanted to put a game on this list that wasn't just minimalistic or just kind of a twist and tuning on some general aesthetics that we already know and love, obviously. But this is something that just, it really reaches out there. It's like, oh my god, they put in a lot of time, a lot of effort to make this game look really good, to make it very livable and breathable, I think, overall. It's like very, the trees. The tree, look at the tree art. It looks pretty cute. So yeah, definitely kind of like life simulator-y, action-y, maybe you could say RPG, but hopefully there is a charm underneath just raw detail. And I think one thing that could be unique and interesting is the fact that the game actually plays through different lifespans, generations, as you play as your kids, and then they die, and you play as the kids further on. We've seen a roguelike game just like that, but also with the town simulation. I don't know how that's going to all play out. Okay, but here's a game that I am more certain of than any other on this list, and while I have praised many, well, all of them, it's a top list, for certain aspects, and said that it's, my best, my favorite in certain ways here and there, but Noita, uncontestedly, is my number one, and definitely, it's gotta be your number one, right? Is that even a fight? Is that an argument? Is it a debate that this is the pixel art game for the next year? Why? Why is it? Do you not see? Can you not tell? Basically, it's not just because it's overly detailed. It's not an overly unique art style. It's not even an overly unique gimmick mechanically. Except for the fact that the pixel art, the literal pixels, are a part of the gameplay. For a pixel art game to actually incorporate every individual pixel as part of the gameplay, well, that's just kind of hype. Basically, yeah, you're a mage, you're gonna be running around blasting and freezing and zapping, pixels off the face of the planet. I think it's pretty cool. I throw out some alchemy bombs that just shatter the world itself. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's cute. And of course, I really love the minimalistic kind of approach to the art style, but then also the overall animation, how it sort of has this, I want to say like flash animation, or obviously it's animated in a style that's kind of similar to Carrion, or maybe a game that's already released, such as Rain World, where you do have this pixel art game, but it's not animated based on the frames of each pixel moving, preset animations. It's kind of done through pivot joints like you normally would see actually in like TV cartoons. So overall, for like an action, dungeon crawler that, well, the pixels literally actionably explode, I think it's pretty cool to have such smooth animation. So overall, in terms of gameplay, which video, graphics matter, I mean, they do, because that's why you're on this list in the first place, the pixel art, I gotta say, man, this is obviously number one. And if you don't think so, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Just kidding, always friends. Hey family, that was my top 10. Now, I did do a couple other lists, and I've played a few other games. You want to go subscribe so you can actually see those gameplays, and I just want to say thanks so much for the Patreons that allow me to buy these games early or whenever they release and cover them on the channel. I love doing reviews. I love hanging out with you guys on stream at twitch.tv/Skylent. I just love saying words and hyping up games that I'm excited for. I love feeling that excitement and seeing it with you guys in the comments below, in reply videos, and hanging out with me and playing with me on stream. A lot of these games are co-op. Hey, well, maybe we could play together. That'd be pretty neat and stuff and things too. So, much love, friends and family. Remember to like, subscribe, and all the cool YouTube stuff so that this can get seen and these games can get shared. All I can ask and hope for is that you have fun. My name's Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.